So let's keep it going. We're going to also bring in Brother Daniel Allah, who's going to be co-hosting with me today. He's going to come up and say a few words. He did a powerful presentation. Those that quartered in the Nicholas bookstore a few weeks back. Also, Brother Hashar, he did a presentation with him as well, dealing with evolution, or the theory, or the false theory of evolution. He also did a powerful presentation last time here, dealing with the misconception of King James and the lies that have been told about him and other people that were responsible, and debunking that whole theory or belief that King James was white homosexual. He was a brother, he was an Israelite, and he was the most I put a spirit upon him to translate the Bible in the common language of the day. So let's give it up to Brother Daniela, my brother, my co-host for tonight.
I want to give all praise to the Most High, the supreme being of the universe, and I want to give respect and honor, man, to everybody that came out tonight, man. The nation of Israel, I want to tell you, y'all beautiful, man. The nation of Israel, we are beautiful. And the scriptures tell us that we are the apple of the Most High's eye. Understand that, man. We are the top nation, the best nation, and we've been chosen to be above all nations on the face of the earth. Every trend, everything that goes on this earth that we set, everybody else follows. I want everybody to understand that, right? So tonight, what we're here to do is that we are here to give honor and respect to our sisters. Because there is a misconception in the world that we do not honor and we do not respect our sisters. So we're here to let our sisters know that the nation of Israel is not going nowhere without our women. We cannot go anywhere without our women, because a man needs a woman to reproduce, to bring forth this nation so that we continue to be the mighty nation the Most High set us up to be. All right? So, with that being said, I want everybody to understand that the genesis and the foundation of our nation started with Abraham and Sarah. That was a family. And after them, you had Isaac and Rebekah. That was a family. And after that, you had Jacob and his wives. That was a family. Does everybody understand that? So we cannot come back as a nation if we just come back as a nation of men. We got to come back as a nation of men and women that have the same mind. We are on one accord. We're here to serve the Creator, and we will be the mighty nation the Most High set us up to be. So with that being said, I'm not going to be long-winded. I'm going to bring up the next speaker. This sister is a powerful sister. I've watched a few of her videos online. I can guarantee you that you are going to be educated as well with everything that she brings forth. And Sister Abundance Child, come up. Wherever you at, Sister Abundance Child, come up. I want y'all brothers and sisters to give her a hand. Very eloquent and very mighty sister in the spirit. She's going to come forth and bring forth a lot of information. So everybody give her a hand, please.
Salam, shalom. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and start and pray that this slideshow works. I'm used to freestyling now. How's everyone doing today? Yeah? Give yourselves a hand for being here amongst the presence of your people. You could be doing other things right now, but this is highly important. I want to veggie back off of something I heard Minister Inky say, and that's that it's not always about unity. We always talk about unity like it's some great kumbaya. Yes. All right. But we're not a homogenous group of people. And I'm actually not into doing any type of small talk because we're all part of the conscious community. That's how we're here. I can see it in everybody's face. I can feel the vibration. So I don't want to have a lot of small talk about the symptoms and not actually deal with the cause or anything like that. I like to deal with solutions. So everything that I speak about today comes from knowledge. It comes from my life experience. This is not something that is book read. This is not, I mean, some of the things I did get out of books, but this is real for me. Like, I've actually lived it. All right, so my mission today is basically to show the black woman that we do have jurisdiction over a lot of things, over many things. We share equality. We're like yin and yang and things like that. So I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about why we can't blame the brothers for our lack of knowing what our jurisdiction is. All right? I also want to explain what jurisdiction is and where it comes from, how it applies to my discussion today, which is eradicating the badges of slavery so we can actually uplift fallen humanity. I also want everyone to understand that women are the ones who passed the slave status. I don't know if I can read like this, but we're the ones that pass the slave status, or we pass a fictional, inorganic status onto our children. And that's mainly because we birth our children in hospitals and things like that. And I'm not talking about like what Minister Inky said, where we just go and we squat. I'm talking about there has to be some type of organization with that. But it really starts there. We birth our children, which are foreign, into this hostile hospice territory and things like that. And it's not because it's wrong, it's just because we don't have our own. All right. Yeah, I'll figure it out, my rhythm in a second. All right. And the third thing is I want to explain that there are two kinds of matriarchy, one that uplifts men and one that holds them back. Currently, we're living in one that holds the brothers back. We're living in a European, white, Christian, male-made matriarchy, and that's how this system is able to sustain itself, and that's through us, the so-called black African-American woman. That is how everything is gone, and the solution is actually through us, because we actually are the ones that can uplift the nation, because we have jurisdiction over the children, the male and the female. We are supposed to teach them. That's why I teach government, law, and commerce. Man being the law, the woman being the government, we act together and we move forward from there. We start there with our self-government, our constitution, and we could be moving from there. Jurisdiction is the official power to make legal decisions and judgments. Nothing happens in my country without consulting the women, where the grandmothers speak and the president listens. That comes from Sister Bernadette. She is one of the elders of the of this council of elder sisters. And across all Aboriginal cultures, we as women have always had a say. We have always had a place. But we have gotten away from that because we're tending to this sugar daddy system of white Christian supremacy here in America, and a lot of times we don't even realize it. So I'm going to tell you how it started. Most people deal with divine law, which is natural law, it's nature. Once you have that and you're civilized in your culture, you can understand man-made laws. We can move forward from there. However, in the common law, which is the law that actually predates the Roman law here, it was actually the law of England, which this country, United States of America, was colonized by. They changed it. They made it that the status of the child is the status of the mother. Why did they do that? They did this back in the 1600s. This is because they created this form of slavery, this form of capitalism, which still exists today. We're just in a different dimension. Nothing has really changed. So what they did, citing 1662 Virginia statute, they said a master could save the cost of buying new slaves by impregnating his own slave, or for that matter, having anyone impregnate her. They couldn't very well have these young brothers, or these brothers in general, having sex with the white women, or the masters having sex with the slaves, and then they have an African-American child, and now that child is free. They couldn't do that. They would lose money. Then they would have to go and buy new slaves. They changed that. The status of the child is the status of the mother. That is the basic premise of what we're going to be moving forward from here. The race of one's father is irrelevant unless the mother's race is simply unknown or not otherwise available. Race can never change or be escaped except by accident, sex chromosomal inheritance. Only through male children can race be changed. A black woman's progeny would remain black for indefinite generations, even should they marry whites or even Hawaiians. See administering identity, the determination of race and race-conscious law. That came from the California Law Review in 1989. This stuff is still very relevant, but we don't really deal with it because we're not really taught civics. We're not really taught who we are. So we run around here and we carry these badges of slavery like the title black or like African American or Negro or any of those types of things. Nobody else comes from other countries talking about they're black. If you see somebody from the continent of Africa, they'll say, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Ghana. And they'll come over here, and according to Federal Directive 15, they can put down white, or somebody will identify them as white, because people from that part of Africa are considered white. It has nothing to do with crayon boxes of colors or anything like that. During the papal bulls and edicts, they created this race. They created this. They created this with Christianity, and the United States is a 501c3 religious incorporation, incorporated right in the state of Delaware, where I do all of my business. So it is true. So none of this really matters to you if you just want to be comfortable in this system. If you're really about liberation, we have to deal with this. Nobody plays chess, and you're the black pieces on the board, and you go over to the other side to be the other side. That is what we are doing. You have to understand, you got to be 4 or 5 moves ahead of your opponent. See? All right, we have to be able to do that. We have to understand what's been going on. We got to know their laws, not because we're submissive to their laws, not because we need to be recognized to their law, it's because we're under divine law, the Most High law, and there's nothing more sovereign than that. These are just more exhibits. North of Africa, during the time of slavery, most of us came from West Africa, if you want to claim slavery and things like that. And that part of Africa during the Atlantic slave trade was called Mauritania. In fact, that whole area was called Mauritania. That was underneath the jurisdiction of the Emperor of Morocco, or the Sultan of Morocco. And I'm not talking about the country of Morocco with the red flag and the green star in the middle. That's a nation state. All these countries out here, France, Nigeria, Ghana, all these pieces are corporate right now. I'm talking about the corporate status that they had during that time, which was covered by a treaty. If we recognize, let's say we're from West Africa, let's say you were from Ghana, that's where your people are from. That nation state during that time of the transatlantic slavery was Hebrew. That means we're covered during that. Also, you could have came from a different place in Nigeria. It was Muslim. We're covered in that. The point is, you got to be foreign from the United States, which is a Christian white male power. Like I said, none of this has anything to do with you if you're not truly about the liberation of our people. If we're supposed to worship under our own vine and fig tree, we cannot have these new world status of African American, new world status of black. If you want to do that, then you go ahead and you be the 3/5 human that they have in the Constitution. If you want to be that, then get voted if you're going to be able to vote in any of the elections. If you want to be that, you're going to keep getting shot with your hands up because they denied due process, but they really didn't, because black, according to the law, is a criminal. So, my message mainly to the sisters is to correct your status. Again, if you're interested in being part of the world, Rome, Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, then you keep going with it. You keep rolling with the organization, that big old club that issued your birth certificate and your driver's license and things like that. You can't see beyond. Everybody here is a product of somebody else's thoughts. It's real. So we don't have to take this serious at all. However, you don't see any brothers looking like yourself getting shot. You don't see brothers in jalabias getting shot. You don't see sisters with hijabs getting shot. The people that you see getting shot are just the regular old pawns in their chess game that decided that they wanted to be a part and parcel to the United States, their culture, their mores, their values, their God. And their God is something as simple as some fiat currency, some paper. And everybody be about it. I'm receiving it over there. The problem is we're supposed to have our own. So although we might not be able to take care of everything right here and right now, we're supposed to be aligning ourselves with like-minded people. People who worship the same way we do, people who eat the same way we do, people who dress the same way we do, and we start looking forward into the future so that we can correct our past, because all of our children came from the past, which is our future. I was saying that in the slides that a nation can rise no higher than its woman. It's a cliche statement nowadays, but basically we need more queens and not black feminists. And that's what's going on right now. Most of these sisters out here, most of us, most of our sisters, my sisters, don't even realize that our way of life, our ways and values are feminist. We get all into the gender equality issues and things like that. Everybody has opinions about what's going on in the world, but at the end of the day, when we talk about what we want in a man, everything that we ask for usually has to come from another man, that's gay, and a white man at that. I need a man who got a job. I need a man who got a car. Everything that we ask for in a man nowadays, because that's how we have been trained, comes from something that a white male would have to give him or create. To us sisters, and that's basically just looking in the mirror. I'm like, come on. I'm not up here on my high horse. I'm saying all these things out of life experience. I've been through everything that y'all been through. I've been raped, check. Molested, check. Domestic violence, check. Hitting brothers myself, check. I've been virtuous, I've been promiscuous. I've been all of it, so I can speak on everything. But what happened is, I wanted to love myself. I wanted change, and when I started looking in the mirror, the one thing that I saw among 75% of us is that we was raised without daddies. And our moms were raised without daddies. So there's something that's incomplete. And nowadays, we're feeding the system as second beneficiaries of slavery. And we don't even realize these brothers cannot compete with welfare. They cannot compete with your check. They cannot compete with food stamps. They cannot compete with Medicaid. Because every time you get on that stuff, y'all, you got to sell out either that man or you got to sell out that child. It's a time that you're going to have to stop. And one of the things is that we got to stop birthing our babies into this slave system. We got to come into our own government. We got to come into our own constitution. That means look in the mirror and say, I love myself. I don't have to put anything on my hair. I don't need any weaves. I don't need anything because I embrace the fire within that makes my hair coil 9 ether like that. I say that we got to stop abusing our children by feeding them toxins. All right? We got to go more to a plant-based diet because that's what our ancestors ate. All right? Forget all the talk about we ate meat and things like that. That was after the fall. I'm talking about if you can't get Genesis right, then you might as well just stop and stay there. We have everything that we need. We don't need the flesh. We're not cannibals. We're not carnivores. And especially in today's time, you cannot be talking about liberation and eating their food. Oh, yeah. This is another exhibit. New Jersey apology for slavery admits that we were branded with the marks of commercial enterprises and loaded as cargo on a voyage without a return in both the United States and New Jersey. These apologies recognize that we suffered the indignity and we were stripped naked of our nationality. We were stripped naked of our religion. We were stripped naked of our heritage. We were stripped naked of our language. We were just stripped naked. And now we are all suffering from personality disorders as a fact, and we are not able to move forward without bringing new generations with that same sickness. We keep feeding it. We feed it with the food that we eat. We feed it with everything that we market when we see on TV. We feed it to each other in the conscious community because people just want to get that dough. And we keep talking to the choir instead of making this right here into a school where people come and they get their own degrees because we are the authorities. We get up on this stage and we take our responsibilities serious. So we keep doing that, and we don't have to rush to somebody else's college or university. We can come right here and do it, and we don't have to send our babies out for the next generation and the generation for that to beg for a job. It's time to correct our status. The USA, again, is a corporation, and this is one of the things that is quoted in Ezekiel, that they may walk in my statutes and keep mine ordinances and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. They utilize that. We have to realize, are we foreign? Like, that's true. We can look at the old UCC codes and know that they're the original Hebrew codes, right? However, they went and we always hear this cliche, they use everything that we taught them against us. So at this point, you're either for it or you're against it. You're either about the true liberation or you're not. I understand in this generation, I'm 40 years old, in this generation we might feel like we just can't leave the plantation. But we got to start looking to some of these spiritual books. We got to start looking to the Quran, looking to the Torah. Whatever it is that we do, we need to do any of those things. So one, we could be disciplined and we could be organized, but we have to come out of the jurisdiction of that beast. Come out of her. And we can't let this whole separation in church or state, First Amendment, all these types of things confuse us. Because rest assured, they're using it against us. We're not using it for us. Said all that already. This is also just another exhibit. These new nationalities that we have, you know, everybody says that they're black. Everybody says they're African American. They say something like that's new. We have to go back either by DNA testing or just by common knowledge, consult with your ancestors, whatever it is that you need to do. Use your book, which has our lineage, the Table of Nations. Utilize that. Put it on the record. Why? Because we use everybody else's paperwork. It's time to let people know who we are, and we stand up on that. I'm saying that from life experience. I'm not asking you to go get some UCC package or anything like that, but use your Bible and put the names of your children in there, put your mates in there, put everything in there, and use it as your record, because before they had birth certificates and things like that, that's what we use. They're not bombing these churches and everything now and back then because of skin. They bomb these churches because those places, like the mosque and the temples, are our real government. That's where our paperwork is. That's where we go seek consultation. That's why they did that. We have to do the same thing. And if we keep using these new statuses like 200 years ago, and we don't claim our previous nationalities, whether you want to use white as a status, whatever you want to use more, well, more is a protected class. I'm just saying you can't be black up in here. You cannot be black. I'm not talking about dark matter. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the fact that they created some stuff, and under Federal Directive 15, it says it has nothing to do with anthropology or anything like that. It has all to do with classification. Those things that keep you in this system. I'm talking about in this system, because we're still in it. This system has you on the lowest of the bottom tier. It means that you are a quasi-citizen. It means that you are an enemy of the state. It means that by the complexion of your skin, according to the law, they had probable cause to stop you, shoot you, and kill you. This one right here, that's that face, because they want the black man. I had said they want my black man, and I was like, wait a minute. See, you still got some training. You still think that you control the black man. We all do. We always talk about my man. He's not yours. We talk about our black men. They're not ours. In fact, if we don't get ourselves together as black women, that matriarchy is going to fall, and our worst enemy, which is that right there, who has never bowed down to the white man ever. The only being that has never bowed down to the white man that's our real competition, and they're trying to win. They're mating with us, and as you say, they just want to beat us. And I don't even care about any of this really, but I'm just saying it because it's relevant, and everybody probably knows who that person is. NAACP was founded by white people, and the HBCUs, which were funded by white people, Europeans, whatever you want to call them. But it was the sisters that went hard on this woman right here. But these same sisters, by statistics, didn't go hard when homeboy Kardashian, whatever, wanted to be a woman. How are you going to go hard on somebody wanting to be a woman, but then get upset when somebody wants to be us, because we always want to be them? You know how we want to be them? Forget all the raps that we have. Forget all the natural hair. Forget all the diets. Forget all the incense. Forget all the talk. Forget your Facebook page. Where are your children? Did they go to public school? How are you going to send your children to somebody else's enemy? What's in your fridge? Did you grow anything? This is what I'm talking about, self-government. Who made your toothpaste? Did you just not make it yourself? Why can't you just take some coconut oil and some baking soda and mix that with some peppermint oil and keep it moving? Who made your deodorant? Why we can't take that same coconut oil that we cook with, we put in our hair, we put in our mouth, mix that with some baking soda and put that underneath? It works better than anything else. Why can't we make our own skincare products, our own hair care products? Why are we going to these stores at all? That's what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with how we look or what we purport to say that we want to do. It's about what we're doing. This is it right here. Everywhere else, they bowing down to this. No disrespect, but this is what it's about. This is a real shrine. But we sisters are over here are bowing down to somebody else. Why? Because they cut that check. They cut that check at your job. They cut that food stamp check. They cut the check, basically. And as I said, our brothers really can't compete with that. This is where it starts. And from there, we have two types of matriarchy. We have the type of matriarchy that was created by the white man to sustain capitalism, to sustain Sodom and Gomorrah, to sustain Babylon, whatever it is. Y'all understand those analogies. And then we have the ones where the matriarchy exists to coincide with the brothers, and we tell this next generation of these youth the truth. When you ask where our these babies' fathers are and things like that, we don't lie, we don't diss the brothers. We let them know that we're in war, we're in slavery. And these are the type of things that happen in slavery. They don't allow functional relationships in slavery. They make you jump the broom. You cannot be with your child's father in slavery. It's dysfunctional. But when you're out of slavery, you don't follow their mores, their rules, and anything like that. And we don't go to the extreme and talk about, I don't have a driver's license and all these types of things, because we're still in the system. But the thing is that you understand your self-government, you create that, and you be able to mate with people based off of these types of things. When we have no compatibility amongst each other. Not only are we not a homogenous group of people, we don't have the same interests as a people. Two, a man and a woman don't have the same interests. We don't talk about what religion. We don't talk about, all I know is for myself, that's all that really matters. Once these people took my children away from me and sold them to the highest bidder in foster care because I refused to testify against their father in a case, and they subpoenaed me and my straw man, and I was like, wait, I'm Noble Empress Pomeroy Bay. Well, why I said territorial states? I'm not underneath your jurisdiction or anything like that. They pulling out birth certificates and all types of stuff. I'm like, I dissolved that relationship with the Department of Vital Statistics and blah, 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 blah. But the point is that really happened. And the point is I don't trust them for anything, and they will never, ever have my children again. My daughter has to work with me. She thought she had a choice, but it wasn't a choice. I'm like, you got to learn this business. Your college will be opening up a new store in Philadelphia. You can live there, all right? And you can continue this family. We'll open up another one in Atlanta with another auntie. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to keep that moving. And she's well worthy. And she's qualified as a member of the Girl Society, is untouched. And I'm waiting for a young brother of her age that is actually older than her, that knows that she wants to have 6, 7 children. And that can come through me, the gate. That's how I'm raising children. And I want to be around people who are like that, who don't purport to be completely out the system, because obviously I drive a vessel. I pay insurance. And I know better. I was doing all of those things for years without any of those things. But where is my army? Where is the people's army? And that's what we have to focus on. We have to focus on one unit at a time, ourselves, our family, and eventually we have to know how to interact on the outside. We might know amongst here that we are black, we might be Moor, we might be Hebrews, Hebrew Israelites, whatever. But on paper, we better get it together. We need to come with our spiritual books and let them know who we are. We start pulling our children out of school. We start growing our own food. We start eating our own food. We start doing it with the like minds. And that's pretty much how we correct our status. And that matriarchy right there coexists with the brothers. Peace.
Keep it going for Abundance Child, a pioneer fighting the front line, the true warrior princess. Absolutely, absolutely.